Now we're live. Hello, Team Absolution fans. Welcome to Damage Check. As always, we stopped counting 10 episodes ago, so I really don't know or acknowledge what number episode this is, but I am joined with the great, the late, the Irish god, Keith Murphy.
Hello.
I am also joined with the amazing, astounding Doombringer Griffin.
Hitmaster boys, Shadowverse.
And then hosting this beautiful, beautiful event for us all is the Phantom Nate. He is not talking because he's in the library studying, I believe. But he's got the best internet, so he's hosting for us. As always, we're gonna wait approximately. We're gonna wait 5 minutes and let people trickle in, as always, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started with Damage Check as per usual. So, enjoy yourselves, get comfortable, maybe get yourself a little popcorn because it's gonna be a little.
I'd recommend a burger.
I recommend a
Nice,
delicious
burger.
burger.
Cuddle up, and listen to our soft, savory voices as you chill out to Damage Check. Oh, all right.
Oh yeah. Listen to our soft, dulcet tones. Oh, so yeah.
So, hey, Jose, you got a little announcement, don't you?
Oh, I do. I have a few announcements. So number one, the Nuke the Drop shirts are in.
I totally are.
So go make sure that you are picking those up and taking a nice gander at them. Keith saw them. They're gorgeous. They're stunning.
Yeah, I'm going to be posting the picture later on so you guys can see it. I would be wearing it right now, but it's like 75 degrees and it's a hoodie. I don't want to wear that.
Other topics is please check out the Team Absolution Gaming channel. We are going to be doing a whole lot of E3 coverage throughout the weekend and into the week. So make sure you're checking us out for when we live stream that information and when we do Let's Plays throughout all of E3 and talking about all the great conventions and the not great conventions that are going to be happening. There's a lot more conventions than there have been in the past, or spotlights, or clickbait Pokemon Directs, if you'd like. That Pokemon Direct was like, I mean, I love Pokken, so I'm glad that they announced that, but like, I'm somewhat disappointed with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
I'm only disappointed that it's not on the Switch. And that the legendary arts look dumb, even though they're going to be overstated to hell.
Yay, overstats. All right, so we're going to wait about 3 more minutes, and I'm going to step out for just 1 second.
But what Jose has not told you is welcome to Squad Base 2.0, the home of Jose. And friend.
That's the day, Jose.
But not me, though. My special announcement, I am moving to Charlotte to be closer to Get Some Game and Keith. Well, I mean, that's not why, but it is a happy little byproduct. And Team Absolution Charlotte chapter is fully operational. Praise.
Hey.
We're gonna nuke some drops out here. We out here nuking. We gotta nuke the drops.
Someone's grandmother's
boy.
Full throttle.
Oh, Peter, you'll have to come visit us so I can smack that ass.
Come down here so I can smack your ass.
I'll show you what Dragon's all about.
How are you doing, Ryan?
I'm
How's
good.
things?
Pretty good.
Are you all ready for
What's up? We're still packing up, so of course, no one does that. Actually prepares for anything.
Yeah, true that.
If Nate could speak, he'd be talking all about how excited he is for E3, even though he will bitch about it the entire time, saying I didn't like this conference. That Spider-Man game just looks subpar. I don't know what that was, Kojima. Can you give me a little more explanation? So you can definitely count on Nate for all the riveting critiques going out on the E3 stream.
Wait, can Nate hear us right now?
Oh yeah, you can hear us. I assume he's listening.
Well, I just want to say that Nintendo is the best console in the history of anything ever. And Mario
They have
Kart
the
8.
best graphics.
Yeah, it has the best graphics, the best processing power as a system. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is an amazing game, better than Last of Us. And other inflammatory things to get Nate to comment.
The internet is their internet capabilities are absolutely blowing everyone else out of the water. Ryan, do you think Kagero can top major events again? Right now, I mean, Ziegenberg, we haven't gotten to see it yet, so that'll be this will be the time for it to shine if there was one. But but Bravey Dicker was a console, my friend. Anyway, do I think Kagero can top events again? Not for a while. I'm playing Gears, boys. Like it's time to adapt. It's time to move on, and we're just gonna wait until September. Maybe with the GB8, it does have some capabilities, but if you think about the decks that are tier 1 right now or are topping the majority of the time, they have a lot more advantage than we do. They don't rely on their boards so much because they just kill or remove everything that's of interest to a Kagero player to remove, and then they just get shot down because their finishers are from 2 years ago. So that's maybe about a year and a half ago. We're really outdated. Let's be very real here. I mean, set 7 was great for us, but you can hear me in the background of his thing. Anyway, we're just so outdated. There's no hope. It's not as bad as OTT, but that's a real low bar.
I'm here.
All right.
Two Ryans.
Everyone ready to get started here?
Yeah. I was real quick. Descendant or Vanquisher Grade 3. Someone asked me about that. I would do something like GB2 on rear guard, Chitoro skill without the restraint, and stride enabler on stride, CB1 bind 2 from the drop. Let's see, what else is there? Sweep Command Descendant, Sweep Command Sparkhorn, or Sweep Command Ignition Dragon. Sweep Command Sparkhorn, I think. I'm kind of partial to Sweep Command Sparkhorn Gauntlet Buster, but I'm not too sure. I still need to test it more. I haven't really played with the deck yet since I haven't gotten the what's his name? Impede Dragon, the G card. So I'll let you guys know.
All right, everybody. Let's get started with damage check. What a half a year it's been. It is June. We are halfway through the year. Set 11 has officially dropped in the OCG. Things are looking spicy. SP packs are looking very nice. Ratios are looking incredibly good, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's go ahead and get started with the great spoiler reel brought to you by our Dewbringer Griffin himself.
Yeah, spoiler time. So we're just going to round out GBT 11 for you, the expensive stuff from there, or I guess the little foilies from GBT 11. We have some other spoilers for you as well, so let's get right into this. We've got Pulsar Cruising Dragon, Chronojet Zodiac Time Beast. Yeah, you can bet you won't be seeing much of this, but Continuous Railroad Circle Generation Break 1. During your turn, if you have a Vanguard with Chronojet in its card name, this unit gets power plus 2,000. And Auto Rearguard Circle Counterblast 1. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. And if you do, look at 3 cards on the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 ZTB from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So if you want to just dig for something real quick, why not? I could go for that. Sounds good.
I like to dig.
11k attacker, Counterblast 1, draw a card. On attack. Okay.
It's kind of a gold paladin from what I see, except without
a little bit, yeah.
I check the 3.
It's very gold paladin-y. It's not even a little gold paladin-y. It's very gold paladin-y.
Well, speaking of little gold paladin-y, we're gonna get to a card. This is just straight up I copied your homework. But all right, so Goddess of Adherence, Kibitsuhime. Sentinel for Genesis, Auto Revelation on the guard circle. Auto, choose a card from your hand and discard it. When this unit is placed on guard circle from hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your units that is being attacked, then it cannot be hit until end of that battle. Yeah, you know how that works. Auto, when this unit is retired from guard circle, if you have Goddess of Adherence, Kibitsuhime in your soul, you may soul charge 2. I like it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not Ezra's. Or the Nubatama equivalent of Ezra's.
And yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, let me just recycle my perfect card. And here I am, soul charging too. And okay.
And
agree.
although this card has been, I think we actually had this one spoiled already, but Goddess Investigation Ishtar had its official spoiler. It's Triple R Genesis Stride. Auto Revelation of the Vanguard Circle, an Auto Vanguard Circle, Soul Blast 3, and choose a face down card from your G Zone, turn it face up, not a Persona Flip. Actually, pretty rare in this set. When your drive check reveals a grade 1 or greater card, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose the same number of units as face up Goddess of Investigation Ishtar in your G Zone. They get power plus 3k until end of turn. If the card revealed by the drive check has the Revelation ability, stand those rear guards.
I
feel like there was another
that's
card in
really
the set that did pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, yeah, I take it back. It's Genesis is not my forte, so I'm gonna defer to Keith on this.
I mean, it's not really my forte either. I just have deck. But I guess I'm actually the most qualified person in the room
Keith,
to talk
you're the
about
expert
Genesis.
on the team. Keith, sell yourself.
Yeah. So as the most accomplished Genesis player in North America, let me tell you that Ishtar is a pretty good card. From what I see, it's definitely got good turbo potential with GB8. So you can, flip 3? You can get a GB4 by first stride if you get it all off. And the fact that it doesn't have to, flip itself is also a good trait it has, so you can still use it. You don't use it the first time. Flip all 3, and then you're done with Ishtar. So, that's my opinion.
Done with Ishtar and that much closer to GB8.
Yeah.
Not like this. Not like this at all.
At least it's not a super scary one.
That's true. All right, hit us with the next one, my boy.
Yes, boss. So today we actually have, or not today, but next we have some trial deck leaks from the Nubatama Domination trial deck, and I've been waiting to see what support they get, but let's see how good it is. So, Demon Stealth Rogue Genba. He's a grade 3. Domination, Auto, Vanguard Circle, Generation Break 1, Soul Blast 1. At the beginning of your battle phase, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the front row, dominate a stand, and attacks another of your opponent's unit. So, very simple domination effect, get an extra attack off. I'm really liking the number of enablers they have here.
Well, here's my problem with this card, though. It doesn't have Shiranui in the name, and it's a grade 3. So
that is true.
Get out of here.
You're going to have to find your Shiranuis, but it's not like we don't have cards that do that. I mean, we can just play the Nubatama Stride Fodder and find Shiranui. And ditch this guy if we want.
Also, reprints.
Oh, yeah, we got some reprints, too.
We did get reprints. The reprint looks good, too. The Shiranui reprint looks good.
That does.
Yeah, it does look nice.
Are you going to hit us with any of these other trial deck spoilers? Because they don't seem actually that worth talking about.
We could skip over them, but I mean, we've got some vanillas here. You got triggers. You actually have a Margle clone. That's not terrible for a draw trigger.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the only other one I might go over is Demon Stealth Dragon Jakenmyo. Domination.
Yeah, he's not bad.
Auto. During your turn, when this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, dominate a stand, and attacks your opponent's Vanguard straight up. Cool. I believe he is he's also a grade 3. I guess you can. You don't want that guy. You're not playing him. All right, now on to some more triple R's. Here we go.
Oh, here we go. The cheap boy. The cheap boy himself.
Indeed. So still trying to support these Zodiac Time Beasts. We have Metapulsar Avenir Phoenix, because Phoenix has to be a good card at all times. It's triple R Stride for your Chronicle, Auto, Vanguard Circle, Counterblast 1. Choose a face-down card from your G-Zone with the same card name as this unit and turn it face up, so it's a Persona Flip. When this unit attacks, you may pay the cost. If you do, reveal 5 cards from the top of your deck, and for each face-up card in your G-Zone, call up to 2 Zodiac Time Beasts to separate rearguard circles from among them. Put the rest in your bottom of your deck in any order. And continuous Vanguard Circle Generation Break 3, all of your Zodiac Time Beast rearguards get power plus 2k. Hey, Golden Raining Dragon, can I copy your homework? Yeah, fam, but don't make it look obvious.
This is literally the cheapest thing that you can do when, like, I've seen, like, what bothers me is that, like, it's literally a ripoff of the Gold Paladin mechanic. Like, it doesn't even try.
Yeah.
Like, it really doesn't even try to add its own spin. Like, yes, like, you have to call up to 2 Zodiac Time Beasts, but is that That's like saying like you have to call 2 liberators. It's not really. Like,
What about my grapplers? What happened to them?
They got support a set ago, Matt. Jose's roommate, everybody.
I'm just not excited for that kind of the precedent that card sets in Gear Chronicle. I mean, it
What,
probably
steal
makes me
good mechanics
frustrated.
from other things?
Yeah, no, I don't like it. I mean, it's a good card. Don't get me wrong. It's a great card, actually. I mean, it's Golden Rainy Dragon. That card was good too. So it's like, if you take it and you put it in another clan, it doesn't make it any less good. What do you think, Keith?
Well, the same opinion as you guys. It's kind of funny to see Bushi push Zodiac Time Beasts so hard. It's like that deck was dead on entry, and you can see just Bushi with the 2 little executors going like, "Clear, live, live, Zodiac Time Beasts! You couldn't do it this time!" And they're trying to get there. This might get them there. I don't know. I still think Meddlum is just amazing, and you're just going to do that anyways. So, that's my opinion.
All right, the chat. We have the Lucarianite in the chat says he's been a fan of ours for a while. Welcome back to the show. He says he is a Zodiac Time Beast player, and I want to stride this as continuous Vanguard Circle. All front row rear guards get crit +1. Also, when this unit attacks, you make time leap 1 ZTV. All right, Fred. I want stuff too. You know.
Is slash damage check a new board on 4chan? Hello?
We can't hear Jose.
Yeah, I think we lost him. All right, it's just me and you, Ryan. We're gonna lead this.
Look at me. Look at me.
Chapter's taking over. Go.
I'm the captain now. It's an invasion. All right, so we actually got. Well, Jose is not on here. I'm going to talk about something he doesn't care about. Bermudas. So we have a bunch of names released. Shut up, Jose. So we got a bunch of names from the trial deck and the clan booster. Yeah, the CBs are so different now. So it looks like we have a bunch of Chocho support. So Chocho is obviously a new thing for some reason. Good luck, all you Bermuda players out there. We don't know it's going to be good. Legendary Idol Riviere, which we'll spoil later. Some Pacifica, some Prism, a little bit of Duo, and just normal card called High Society Citron. Ooh, very nice.
High Society. Ho, ho, ho.
Oh. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
Oh, God.
Oh,
What's going on?
I can hear myself through Jose's thing. Anyway, let's move on to new Fenris.
Hello, returned.
Hello. He actually did make it in here. Oh, Jose is here.
I saw him for 5
So
seconds.
Fenrir actually does get some.
In place.
Yeah, I don't know what happened either. But all right, so Fenrir support. The big wolf in the sky gets a little support to himself, but he wasn't good enough for the triple R slot. He's been demoted to double R.
Womp.
Auto, Cannibal 1, and Soul Blast 3. If you play on Vanguard Circle or Rear Guard Circle, you pay the cost. If you do, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, put a card into your hand, put a card into your soul, put the rest on the top of or bottom of your deck, and if you have a face-up card with Fenrir and its card name in your G zone, countercharge 1. Cool.
I actually don't mind this card all that much, to be honest. I like that it has a rearguard skill or vanguard skill, and I think it's pretty good, to be honest. Does anybody else? Can anybody hear me? Number 1 and 2.
Yeah, we can hear
What are the thoughts?
I can hear you, and my thought is, it's actually really cool. It just, why didn't they just give it Revelation? I do not understand why you couldn't have just tossed the keyword in there. Bushi was like, oh, would be too powerful if we tossed in the keyword of the clan that we're in. That'd be stupid.
For a double R that you're supposed to play in a deck that's all about Revelation.
Yeah. So that's a little questionable, I feel. Otherwise, I think it's really good. I don't really know how it fits in yet. If you're gonna like run 10 grade 3s or something in Wiseman Loop, or how it's gonna fit in with Amaruta, but we'll see.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I don't know how this is going to completely fit in, and I do think it's dumb that they took off his. That they couldn't have just put Revelation in there. Bushi Road deals with keywords with bosses. Like sometimes really frustrates me because like they don't seem to like give the keyword to like some bosses occasionally, and it's like a little frustrating. And this one in particular is frustrating. But I could rant and rave about the keywords all day.
Oh yeah, and we have.
Mhm.
All right, let's see if we can find any more nice, tasty spoilers for you. Moving all the way up to Riviere.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the funny thing. Ryan said that I don't care about Bermudas, which is 99% true. Riviere is actually the only Bermuda card I give a crap about. So like.
Oh, we found the exception to the rule, boys.
This is a really good stride. So let's hit this up really fast. You mind if I do this one?
Go for it.
So once per turn, counterblast 1, choose a face down card in the same card at Persona Flip. Choose up to the same number of your rear guards as the number of cards with Riviere in their card name in your soul, and they get power plus 5k into the end of turn. If you have 3 or more face-up cards in your G zone, draw a card, and this unit gets power plus 10k and a critical until the end of turn. Everything in the stride zone of that clan gets criticals. Like, many dudes in that clan get criticals. Their whole G zone get criticals, and I think it's great.
Not dudes.
I guess they're. Hey, are you assuming they're gender? No, I'm totally kidding.
Whoa, man, whoa.
In 2017.
I actually like this card. I'm glad Riviere finally got like a really decent stride. This is also reflected by the fact that there are no more Rivieres anywhere.
The buyouts. No.
The buyout is real, so enjoy.
Mm.
Skill?
I mean, it's as you said. I mean, everything in this deck gets criticals. You're just going to be under the gun all the time. And while this one does things slightly differently than all the others, it's still only slightly different. It still just wants to put you in the ground and do a bunch of weird Bermuda things on the way. VR got some support. Like you said, we actually like that card.
Mm. Is that really going to be enough, though? When you compare it to something like Messiah's? Because Messiah's multi-attack and get a crit on literally every stride that has a Messiah name. And also lock.
So here's what I'll say about this card.
Okay.
1, it's a very decent first stride.
That's true.
2, it only requires you. Riviere is a ride chain, correct?
Mm-hmm. You are correct.
Yes.
Riviere is a ride chain, so it only really requires you to ride the ride chain. Everything else is kind of up to you. The stride, at least, to get. But like, it's a first stride that hypothetically, if you go the whole ride chain, 1, 2, 3, you get 15k power, which like across the board, which isn't something to scoff at on first stride. And it will get plus 10k and a critical later in the game.
Is the Riviere one the one that draws a card every time you hit part of the ride chain? Is that one?
I think so. That would kind of make sense, like the draw a card. It's really, I like this card. I'm gonna stay with that. I like this card. Is it gonna like break the game? Probably not, but you're gonna see a lot of Riviere decks now.
Hey, people need good cards. We don't need to be breaking the game every set. This isn't Yu-Gi-Oh! Come on. Only like every 6 months do we just rip the game in half.
Also, there's something important to realize. You could run this as a 2 of, completely ignore the entire Riviere part, and still get the plus 10k in a critical.
It's pretty good.
If you have 3 dudes face up in the G zone. Because the second skill only requires you to have 3 cards face up in the G zone. It doesn't require anything with Riviere. Riviere is only the power play. So it's not a bad thing at all, in my opinion. So
Hey, we'll take not bad. We'll take not bad.
All right. Is there anything else in the spoiler realm of mention? I don't think so.
No, the spoiler reel is over. And let's move on to news.
So what's in the news today?
Well, for our Mad Money with Ryan section, welcome to the new box ratios. Bushi doing some good for the community. What is this? So per case, which is
20 boxes.
20 boxes. Oh, I thought it was 16. Okay. So per case, you get 4 normal SP, 2 SP packs, 2 SGRs, 6 GRs, 60 triple Rs, 108 double Rs, and 9 reprints. So 3 of each reprint, and they're still about the same price.
It's also important to remember that SGRs and GRs do not replace triple Rs anymore, and SPs and reprints still replace Rs. So this is getting really spicy ratios. I am actually a huge fan of these ratios overall. I mean, this is making case purchases a lot more of a consideration. Like if you have friends, I mean, I know this is Mad Money with Ryan, but screw it. I'm the economist. I'm hijacking it. This is economical analysis with the captain. Like if you got some friends, like this is a great set to jump in on. One, because like so much of it is like decent, like tradable stuff. So like even if you like don't like, if you pull the dark irregular stuff, because the dark irregular stuff is creeping up in value already, which means people are going to be wanting to be looking for the new dark irregular stuff. The royal stuff is going to sell like hotcakes. People are Kagero loyalists, so you know people like Ryan are going to be fetching for that Kagero stuff. And even though the clan isn't good as it once was, the cards still retain decent amount of value because I'm Kagero for life.
All those Blademaster fanboys.
So I like this, but back to Mad Money with Ryan. Ryan, what else you got to say about this?
No, that's really it. Go out and buy yourself a case, man. I mean, that's what we're gonna do, probably. More than likely. Pat,
Ryan, do you have the thing pulled up in front of you to see it?
The ratios?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you tell them what the changes are to the ratios? Like how it is different from what it was before? Because I know the GRs changed, and the triple Rs and the double Rs, I think.
Oh God. No, I did not know that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you had that pulled up or not. I know there's like 2 extra GRs, which is really important because that gives you, you know, what, 3 Ganselots instead of 2?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I do not remember how many triple Rs are extra. I want to say 18 sticks out in my head, but I could be wrong to say that. And then however many double Rs.
Oh, double Rs.
Woo!
But anyway, yes, this is really good. And also, 8 of the boxes in a case will have one of those double R plus packs. So those boxes essentially get 6 double Rs instead of 5. Each box still has 3 triple Rs at least.
Do the reprints work the same? Is there any difference to the reprints?
I think you get more of them now. It used to be like 2 of each. Now I think you get 3.
Oh,
the big one
so
is plus 18 triple Rs.
Plus 18.
You get so many more triple Rs.
Also, it's important to realize that GRs and GRs don't replace a triple R. You're getting a triple R and the SGR in boxes you're pulling SGRs.
There's no more replacement of any. There's no real replacement of any kind except rares. Actually, what essentially happens is, according to Cardfight Coalition, they just like ripped out like a bunch of the common slots that you just don't need. Like you get 330 less commons, I think, overall to put all of these other cards in or something.
I'm actually totally okay with that. I'm so
junk. Do not need more junk.
Woohoo! Let me trade. 300 5-cent commons for some $20 cards. Yeah, okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
$20 cards I can actually use, trade, or sell. Not much I can do without commons but bulk them.
Nothing but them high toasty commons.
But that will, I believe that's news, unless we want to talk about what's been topping recently. And this is the part where Nate tells us all about that, as I believe he has fixed his mic.
I don't think Keith. Hasn't Keith been keeping up with that quickly before? I know Keith has to bounce out here in a second.
Okay, yeah, I
because he's a great
I can
man.
go over the interesting Japanese results we've gotten since Fighters Collection, if you guys want to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's quickly run over that, and then we'll let you bounce right when we get to the topic at hand.
Okay, hold on for like 2 seconds so let me pull them up. If you have something else to talk about for like 20 seconds.
So, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
I know that. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, what was it?
Before
Okay,
I was
so
forced to add.
It was the annual Bali Grand Tournament top 4. In that top 4 was Nubatama Shiranui, prior to G-Set 11, just so you know. Mega Colony Darkface, Gear Chronicle, no surprises, and Turbo Spikes GB8, which if you guys are not familiar with, because this is the new madness going around, is running.
Every time we think Spike's dead.
Yeah, they come right back. They rush
So,
the Hail
like,
Mary.
I think.
And what?
I think this is just a tournament of rogue decks. Like, I really do. Like, I have, like, that's great for the players. Congratulations. I'm glad that you topped. You earned it. But, like, I'm confounded by these results.
Yeah.
Hello?
Well, I can at least see the Spikes one. That looks really interesting. Because you run as many Mecha Trainers as possible, get as many heals as possible, drop them all, just get to GB8, and then stride hell hard, and watch as your opponent cries to Mayhem Tiger.
The dark face one is the one that, like, really perplexes me.
Yeah, Darkface is... I got nothing. I tried and I got nothing. Let me see.
Man might have known his audience.
It has the GB8. I don't really know. That's about it. That's what I got. Okay, the other results...
Colony GB8. I'm pretty sure that was on our, like, bottom 5, or, like,
Yeah.
incredibly average.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it just doesn't matter if you could just drop that thing on your opponent before they're at, like, GB 4 or 5.
Yep, pretty much.
All right. Keith, hit us with the next tournament top that you got.
All right, sounds good. The other one is the BCF. I assume Bushi Road Championship something. Sapporo winner. It was Fenrir Loop came in first, followed by Loop Luard. Third place was the Turbo Spike Brothers again, and fourth was good old Time Leap Gear Chronicle.
But Spikes
All right,
again.
maybe the Spikes Bros is starting to gain some traction here.
What is happening?
I never wanted to fear Spike Brothers again. I would rather
I
live in
don't
a world
want it.
without that than live in
I
a
don't
world
want to
with
keep
it.
it crisp.
Please, no. I did my time.
I've played against so many Spike players just to live in fear every time and only barely win.
Keith, did you mean Wiseman Loop when you said Loop for Genesis?
Yes, it was the Wiseman Loop. Sorry. I think I said Fenrir Loop. That's just what they called it. But it's the Wiseman Loop.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, the only difference to that, from what I see, is literally just tossing in the GB8, which I don't really think you need in Fenrir at all, because Wiseman's already hitting
That deck was
8K.
I mean, that deck's. I'm glad the deck finally. I mean, because Wiseman Loop just isn't topping here. So like,
no.
I'm surprised to see it top overseas. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I got one last result before I split that someone brought up in the chat, and I just remembered it. Is I think it's locals, from what I gather, in Japan that went a Night Runner list that went 5-0 post ban list. Seven Seas Rush is not dead. That thing is still trudging along, even though Bushi has hit it with the bat and knocked out its kneecaps. That thing is still crawling along on the ground and getting there.
I say nay.
Good riddance.
It's merely a flesh wound. The pilot is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I'm not surprised that deck isn't dead. It's they could never doubt the ability of the Grand Blue fan base. Number one, and number
They
two,
endured such hardships. Yeah, get it?
I mean, they've gotten the shaft from Bushi. They've gotten the shaft from Bushi so much. They just know how to overcome. They'll find a way.
We will persevere.
So with that, let's all say a fond farewell to our great friend Keith while he descends into the darkness. And welcome, Nate, if he can hop in real quick for our topic at hand. Hashtag nuke the drop. Don't get the shirts.
Yeah, always remember to hashtag nuke that drop. And definitely buy our t-shirts. They're amazing. Don't buy the hoodie like I did because it's like 80, 90 degrees right now. That was a mistake. I regret it.
Buy the hoodie.
Yeah.
Buy the hoodie.
Everyone does their winter shopping in the summer. That's only the way it works.
It's true.
Okay. Okay. I'll see everyone later. Good night, guys.
Bye.
It's a night.
It's me. I'm tired.
Oh, Nate's back. Nate's alive. So let's get into the topic. We are officially in June of 2017. The year is speeding very fast. Set 7 has released in the OCG. Fighters Collection has released in the OCG. The Legend deck has released in the TCG. And we are on the dawn. I believe this month we get Fighters Collection, correct?
Sure. Why not?
Fighters Collection is already. I believe the pre-release is this week, or it releases this week, or.
I don't. I don't think Fighters Collection has pre-release.
Yeah. It's just this weekend.
So, let's get to talking about. I don't want to make this like a state of the meta, but let's talk about what's happened so far this year. And I want to start off with where Keith left off. Grand Blue and 7 Seas Rush. 7 Seas Rush at the beginning of this year was getting a hard hammer to try and slow its production because only Gear Chronicles can succeed. Gear Chronicle Royals are the only two clans that are allowed to succeed unabated by Bushi's hands. So, first, Grand Blue 7 Seas Rush getting the restriction hammer twice, but still finding a way to succeed. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's still pretty efficient in what it does, and the problem cards that they've hit a couple of times now still just weren't the core problem of the deck. They either still want it to function for some reason, or they would have done more with this. I mean, Slash Shade is still very much a thing, and it's the card that makes the deck work. Let's be honest here. The rest just help. They just help it be more efficient. And the fact that Slash Shade win on hit when if you hit Slash Shade, no one's playing regular 7 Cs with Break Ride, like that cool deck that we had a year ago. No one's playing that anymore. It's either you're playing 7 Seas Rush, you're playing Night Rose, because both are just such better variants. You don't need to protect the Night Mist deck anymore. You can just hit all of the cards you want, and clearly Bushi Road didn't think that Slash Shade was enough of a problem to hit, and I think that was a mistake on their part. This deck is still crawling along, and if they're putting out GB8 cards and letting grade 1 decks run around, they know it because it won Worlds. Those are my thoughts.
I like your thoughts. Nate, let me poke your brain. What you thinking?
Gonna defend Bushi Road because I'm gonna say did enough at the time. Like, we hadn't seen 7 Seas Rush top a lot intermittently. It's really only been just recently with New York, New Jersey, whichever BWC that was.
Also,
go ahead.
Let's not forget that.
Japanese list. It's only recently since the ban that it started coming up again. I think that's partly because, people had to learn how to run it without everything it had, and people stop expecting it now, whereas people were expecting it. They were running counters to try and defend against that deck specifically, and now they're not. So I think Bushi did a decent job at the time to take it down a peg. It's just now that we've stopped worrying about it, it's been able to creep back up because they didn't kill the deck. They just they gave it like a broken leg, and we've allowed that leg to heal. We were like the we were like the tortoise that just decided, oh, the rabbit broke its leg, so we're just going to take a nap. And now the rabbits come back up and beat us to the race, because that's how that story goes, apparently. So, yeah.
The thing that I'll agree with is a lot of what you're saying makes sense. One, because like it does take time for players to reassess the way a deck works and bring it back to a playable form. I can't deny that as being true. So that could explain its disappearance. Also, wants to get rid of that deck because it's so against the theme of the game. Like, Grade 1 Rush is nothing. I mean, they also did it with Grade 2 Rush with Ripples. Like, they design these cards and then they forget that, like, oh, we're supposed to go up to Grade 3. Oh, and release these cards with GB8s, like Ryan said. And, like, so Bushi clearly wants to get these good decks out of the way. But, like, what I find impressive is that the players are able to bring it back after a delayed time. That's how decks come back. Like, I mean, we can talk about how, like, one of the reasons I think Spike Brothers is doing so well is no one is prepared for it. No one has really, like, sat down, like, the meta wasn't prepared for Spike Brothers to rear its ugly head. Like, the meta is prepared for Gear Chronicle, the meta is prepared for Royal Paladins, the meta is prepared for Luard, Fenrir. The meta is built of, like, those clans right now, like, but, like, weak clans can't make it through, but, like, a super aggressive turbo build of, like, a certain mechanic might be able to abuse that moment and take the opportunity. And to be honest, the Seven Seas Rush is kind of like that. It also, like, gets rid of the idea. Now it's like, man, a lot of these GBA cards are really cool. So it's like, let's go back to Grade 1 Rush where those aren't it. Let's just eliminate new cards completely as an issue for us, which is basically what, like, Grade 1 Rush is effectively able to do, is to, like, it's not, I don't want to call it a timeless deck, but in an age where Stride is such an imperative mechanic and GB1 is, like, now partially the end all, I don't want to call it the end all be all because, like, there are clans that get away with it more so than others, but, like, GB1 is a staple in a lot of decks, and, like, Grade 1 Rush can easily just sidestep that in a lot of matchups, proofing that, like, it's timeless, because as the game becomes more GB based, that deck becomes more and more efficient.
To round up this discussion, I do want to point out that, yes, Bushi Road's balancing of Seven Seas Rush, if we can call it that, by, banning a couple, helper cards for the deck, is consistent with their balance strategy. Typically, they hit cards they're just trying to bring everything down a peg and get things to, kind of the same level, so you have a nice, friendly, competitive environment. When I say friendly, I mean just that there's a lot of decks that can go around. I mean, I think America's meta is a good example, but that's usually because of deck loyalty, not so much. But they're really just trying to get all these decks in the same place. If there's a deck that's popular, they don't want people to stop playing it usually entirely. They just knock it down a couple of pegs and say, go back out there and have fun with your friends after I've disciplined you a little bit and gave you a little spanking in your mom's van, that sort of thing. But it is inconsistent with their design strategy overall. They're putting out GB8 cards that are now seeing play, actually. They're putting out, GB1 hard stops.
Wait a second.
Yes.
Ryan, are you suggesting that your mom spanked you in other people's vans?
No, I'm saying that your mom smacks you in her van. Why would she be in other people's vans? Although it probably did happen.
That's the way you phrased the statement. I'm just saying.
I apologize. Like, you understood my point.
Before your mom spanks you in other people's vans. I was like, wait, excuse me?
I'm confused.
I apologize for my syntax error. But anyway, it is inconsistent with their design strategy. They keep putting out later and later cards. They're moving the game slower and slower to pull off these ridiculously power creep mechanics behind increasingly high paywalls, as we've spoken about before. And here we are again talking about why Seven Seas Rush is a good deck. And why does it still exist when, for all intents and purposes, Seven Seas Rush should not exist. You shouldn't be able to play decks like that because Bushi Road shouldn't allow you to, based on the way that they design cards, and yet they don't seem to care what the competitive community does. Surprise, surprise. But trying to make sure that everyone just plays together nicely, when in reality that kid's a problem child.
Yeah, I concur. So the next topic I want to cover is one that we cover a lot, is that...
Is it Royals? Let me know it's Royals. Come on.
It's not Royals.
Oh.
It's more so... So we just spent a little while talking about Bushi's balancing strategy, right? But let's talk a second about if the last 6 months has shown us anything as far as set releases go, is Bushi Road's blatant favoritism. I mean, it's as obvious as no one now can argue that Bushi doesn't play favorites. I mean, I think before it was just as hard, but like, I mean, with Royals getting the love that they've been getting, and I think also let's also bring up the fact that like only one of the big three original favorites, OTT, Royals, Kagero, get any substantial love anymore, and it's Royals. It's Royals and Gear Chronicle, and those are the only two clans that really. But it's blatant. And let me be the first one, as a Royal Paladin player and as a person whose friend Ryan also plays Gear Chronicle, let me be the first one to stake my claim here that is bad for the game. I wouldn't mind a couple sets of no Royal Paladin support. In fact, I could use it. I'm getting too many good cards, and I don't know what to do with them anymore. Royal Paladin decks I want to build, and there's only so many. I don't want to get to a point where all I'm playing is mirror matches or royal matches. I want to play different clans. I want to see a DI matchup that I play against. I want to play against Bermuda Triangle. God, I want to play against Kagero. Do you know how long it's been since I played against Kagero? Which is the next topic I want to talk about. But let's talk about the blatant of these clans. And yes, the people are saying in the set that in this set Royals only got like 8 cards. But like they're all amazing. Lou on paper is amazing. Gancelot is stupid. Assault, Marin is dumb. Lien, regardless of Braxton's protests, is a good card.
I mean, I think part of the argument could just be, yeah, Royals only get 8 cards, but that's a whole clan slot on else. You know?
I agree.
If they only have like 7 clans in a booster box, you have eliminated another clan from getting support, regardless of how many cards you take in the set. You've taken that clan slot. That's my argument.
I mean,
to combat that.
Murakumo, Spike Brothers, Neo Nectar. Neo Nectar didn't see support this set, right? No.
Nope. Great Nature, Mega Colony.
Mega Colony could really use some love.
Pale Moon could use more love, even though it just got love.
But Pale Moon got. I mean, we could talk about how Pale Moon got. Like, that's kind of like the next segment altogether that I want to talk about. Is like, so this blatant favoritism. I think we can all agree can stop. But I want to get your overlapping ideas. Has it gotten worse since in the past? Has it gotten better? Well, if you say it's gotten better, I might just slap you. But
oh God, no.
So let me hand it over to Ryan first.
Let's talk about
Favorites.
how difficult it's gotten for Bushi Road to support so many clans. We've gotten a good few number of clans since the very beginning, where we had Nova Grapplers, Royal Paladins, Kagero, Oracle Think Tank, and then you kind of had, like, I guess Grand Blue, Great Nature, Nubatama are all just kind of standing around waiting their turn for when their support finally comes in. And spoiler, it took forever. But we get into this weird thing where we have 20-odd clans now. And you have to assign them a character in the anime. You don't have a way to show off the cards and what they do and spoil them. So, but that doesn't mean that all clans can be main character clans. I mean, let's talk about what clans got the most support. Guess what? It's Royal Paladins, Gear Chronicle, and whoever else is a strong character at the time. A main character. Gold Paladins get plenty of support. Luard gets plenty of support so far. Because those guys are main characters. And let's talk about, if you are a character that's supposed to lose a game, how strong can your cards be overall? If Aichi's never supposed to lose, how bad can his cards be?
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Well, okay, I agree with you and I disagree with you. I agree with you now, I disagree with you at the beginning, because, like,
sure,
the best deck of the game, and then he lost to what was clearly an inferior deck.
Hey, you're not wrong. Ren versus Kai was an exception that at least was a plot point, but Kai was still a very strong character. let's not forget. I mean, he just wanted to. He had to show off Dote, but anyone can lose a game of Vanguard. We know that to be true. But it's just these weak characters that are just fodder for Chrono. Like, I have to make new Mega Colony cards because I haven't shown this guy in 6 months. I guess you should have a fight, but is he gonna win? Of course not. It's Chrono. Here's a new ZT. Here's a new like Chrono Jet Dragon Stride Murder You Gear Groovy fodder. Enjoy. This is your 8 cards for the set, but I'm actually trying to support 11 new cards for Mega Colony, except those all suck because he has to lose the game. And that's not. I'm not saying that's what actually happens, but I'm saying it's really, you can pretty much. I'm saying that correlation equals causation here a little bit. You've got so much to support, and you have to throw them in every so often. But some characters are going to be there more than others because that's who makes you money. They're the main character clans. This has been so representative of Vanguard's entire history. If you're a main character clan, you're set for a good long while.
The only instance in which that wasn't really true was Legion Head, Legion Arc, where like he had Thing Saver, which we all knew was a busted card, but then like Kai kept losing all these games with it. And then like it's like, how you losing with Thing Saver, son? But no, I completely agree with Ryan's point. Vanguard as a show and Vanguard as a product was much better when the main characters could lose more consistently. One, because it showed actual character development, and two, even outside of that, it allowed the design makers to design cards that are better than the main character's cards to a certain degree. Therefore, he can lose. I'm not saying there aren't good. I mean, obviously, Grand Blue is one of the best decks in the game, and clearly, Chrono's probably going to beat Rummy Labyrinth. Actually, I think they're playing soon in an episode, but that's neither here nor there. I agree with his point. The design space of the show really can sometimes infringe on that. Other card games have gotten around it somehow, but like Vanguard seems to always have this problem where like Chrono has to win all his games. Now, granted, like it's kind of ironic to say that when like Yugi or Jaden would win all their games, but like it's just so much more blatant here. Nate. Let me hand it over to Nate here. I feel like Nate wants to say something. I might be wrong though.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna kind of be positive and negative because I see a silver lining in this. I'm gonna start out with negative. Yeah, the favoritism is ridiculous. You have this year alone, you have given Royal Paladins an character booster, a trial deck, a legend deck, and 2 main booster sets, and we're only halfway through the year. That's ridiculous. No clan should get that much. On the other hand, I actually really like Bushi Road's product release schedule for this year. I don't like the clans that have been in it. I actually like the product releases. The Revival Collection. I think we all love the Revival Collection. It was a good idea. Yay. Then we got a Totem Rambo booster and a trial deck. We got 2 trial decks, Neonectar and Royal Paladins, which were the first trial decks to introduce G Guardians, if I'm correct, which was kind of needed. You need trial decks that introduce this mechanic to your game so people can play the game. So good there, except for Royals didn't need it. You got a character booster for Gears, Royals, and Neonectar. We like character boosters, just not those 3 clans. We got another character booster for Trinity Dragon, which had a much really better selection for clans. Then we finally got GBT-10. So in this year, we have only had 2 main booster sets. We went 4 months from GBT-9 to GBT-10, and we're going to go from April to September before we get GBT-11. I like that. I think we were all fatigued of this main booster set coming out every month or every other month. It's great that they're doing more of these character boosters and extra boosters, and clan boosters, but they're not picking the right clans. They're letting that favoritism ruin this model and skew the game to ridiculous levels of power proportions where, oh, you're not playing Royals or Gears or Grand Blue, I guess you're gonna lose. Enjoy. So yeah, I like the model. I'm not liking the clans they're choosing. So there's my...
I agree with you. And that's a whole thing I want to go into. Like, That is Bushi Road's best action this year so far. Their best decision was their release schedule. It's beautiful and it's so relaxing, and it actually lets me like sit down. From my content creators, it's like good and bad because like it means like we don't have to like always be constantly paying attention, but then we kind of also run out of things to talk about sometimes because we're getting spoilers still. But it's like I'm sure you guys come to hear us talk about more than what cards have come out, when cards have been announced over the last week. You want to hear us talk about stuff, and sometimes Nate and I and Ryan and Keith and Braxton were like, "All right, what do we want to talk to this week?" And we're just like, I don't know. And then like we have to like think about it for a second, which is why I think over the next couple of weeks, as we get through GBT 11, because the next couple of weeks, Keith brought it up that Bermudas have to be spoiled over the next 3.5 weeks. So it's going to be a lot of Bermuda Triangles. So instead of like doing the topic of Bermuda Triangles every week, it's probably going to be like more broad level game design questions dealing with Vanguard as it exists in 2017. Something more broad as far as game design and revisiting the concept of competitive personalities and stuff like that. And tournament structure, maybe not tournament structure, but just more broad ideas that allow us all to like converse in that kind of way. Because I do want us to go back to that kind of level of discussion, which is why I've been trying to open up these topics a little bit more. Schedule is truly their goal. It is so many times did me and Nate have conversations on the fact that like a set every month was exhausting on your wallet, on the meta, and overall is on a game. And this is where I disagree with Nate though. While the first extra booster, the triple decision, Trinity Dragon wasn't a bad one. It just didn't have aside from D Police. I think didn't it have Great Nature in it too?
Great Nature, yeah.
Great Nature and D Police were good. It's just OTT got the shaft. Apart from that, Tri 3 was too much. I mean, your Chronicle Royals there. Neo Nectar could have stayed in, but give us. I mean, Kagro could have used the set there. Megaton could have used the set there. We can keep talking about it. I didn't have any problem with the Rummy Labyrinth set. My problem was that it was so one-sided. Like, I didn't mind Granblue getting support in that set because it's about time that Granblue got some overall love to begin with. I mean, I never thought I'd see that, but like, it's good that they get love more consistently than they had, because there's a lot of payback. Because there was a long time in Vanguard's history where like Granblue was like the ignored, least favorite kid in the family. Like, so it's good to see. But like, Pale Moon also needed that love, and Pale Moon got like no love in that set. Pale Moon was literally like what Ryan said, like, well, we've got to give the other girl, we got to give the other idol some cards. Like, okay, make them okay. Will do, boss. And aside from that, the release schedule overall has been really good. But that brings me up to my next topic. Who has been getting behind this year in Vanguard?
Mega Colony. All right, here's how you know you've been left behind. If your clan was featured in the first technical booster, and that's like the last good support you got left behind. And that was Reckless Rampage, that was Nubatama, which hasn't had support really since then until GPT 11. And yet that card is suddenly all the rage because we had a guy that played it. No new cards, no nothing. But he got left all the way back there and he's just now getting support. But what about the others? So Tachikaze, also in there. And, oh god, who was the last one in there? And then we also had the Genius strategy where Mega Colony finally got some support too. But if you're getting like technical booster support, it's a good tool for Bushi to use. The support of character boosters versus technical boosters. Technical boosters is how you know that you've been left out in the cold for too long and they're trying to save you. But it's going to take some time to revive. I mean, we haven't had that much good support for those clans since then. Tachikaze got a set, I think. I think they got a set. I don't even remember, because even though I know every set the Royals are in, I have no idea like where the Tachikaze support is. Did they get a set? I'm pretty sure they got some support. I really don't know. When are people going to tell me? when is Tachikaze going to come back? They got left behind. Real bad. If you weren't a good clan in the first place, it's just so hard to ever get up there. And some just randomly come out of the woodwork, like Spike Brothers. Not saying that's a bad clan, but it's not one that's ever had so much consistency. It's nice to see they're getting some tops now. For clans to get left behind in this 20-odd clan thing where you have to dedicate one set of support to Token Ranbu a year. Like, that's what we're talking about here, is one set for Runes, one set for Token Ranbu, and how many other slots are there? Chances are one of the clans isn't going to be supported all year. Or you get one. You might get one set of support like Kagero. It's June, or we're gonna get support in September. That's it. No more support rest of the year. We'll see in 2018 Kagero, and you're probably not going to come back. And that's how it was last year too. This clan is on its way out, and you've already seen the same happen OTT. They got one set of support this year, and they're not going to see any more for the whole rest of the year. It's just not going to happen. If it does, good for them. I really hope Trinity Dragon actually gets to win some games so they get some good cards.
All right, Nate, keep on talking. Who's left behind in 2017?
So,
Aside,
go
we
ahead.
can agree that Kagero and OTT. We can let's go beyond Kagero and OTT.
I'm taking this from like a standpoint where, like, if you're talking about decks that were like on the cusp of that tier 1, tier 0, and now they've kind of fallen off. To me, the big three kind of become Kagero, obviously, because Kagero was in such a good position in the middle of end of last year.
I talked Nets.
Then
Kagero. And now we'll never see it again.
Exactly. And now nothing. The other big two for me are Angel Feathers and Aquaforce. Just in terms of, we saw them topping so much. And it's just been a combination of, one, we did have the rulings against Angels, which hurt it with Refros. But Angels and Aquas have not gotten support in such a long time that they went from being able, they were touching that tier 0, tier 1. At one point, you could argue Angel Feathers might have been that tier 0, tier 1 deck, but regardless.
Yeah, I mean, Angels was. I couldn't beat it. Like, no matter how hard I sank guard, it wasn't enough. Like, you couldn't beat that deck.
And the Aquas were kind of that hidden one where you didn't really think of them as a top meta deck, but when we were keeping all of that data, Aquas were always in the number 3 and number 4 position. They were consistently topping in Blue Waves and Thavas. And now they're not. They just have gone so long without support, and everything else has just risen up so quickly that if you're talking about decks that just got left behind, who could have been there, but just got left behind, it's Kagero, Angels, and Aquas, which makes me really sad because I enjoyed Aquas. Oh, well.
We all enjoyed Aquas, Nate. We have 3 Aqua players on this team. We're all like,
But believe me when I say, pretty much what Nate and what Ryan said were all the clans I was thinking of considering. So I'm gonna take this topic a step further in my little discussion here. And this is what I'm gonna say. What clan is on the Vanguard deathbed? As in, like, unless Bushi Road. Okay, I would stake the claim that Nuba's was on the Vanguard deathbed announcement of Dominate. It was getting close.
They were on the deathbed, but Bushi Road took that giant needle full of adrenaline and just went bam. And
Who's on the Vanguard deathbed? I got 3 clans for you. I agree. Nuba's got the injection, but it was like, Nate, it was more like, I got this this dying body, and it's literally like, we can rebuild him. I have the technology.
no. All right. I will give it to you. I will give this to you. Nubatama died, and they harvested his organs and put it in a new guy and called him Nubatama.
And then ignored and then avoided the old Nubatama. They're like, what? That never existed. This has always been Nubatama.
But they gave it the reprints at least, so I don't get what the strategy is here. Like, are you trying to give me 2 different decks to play? Because I'm not gonna do that. I'm playing Domination. That's just cool. Like, I'm not gonna play After Image. Are you kidding me?
It's kind of like when they it's kind of like when they made that Murakumo Grade 3 whose name was the reverse unit, but his name wasn't that unit. It's the same thing. Okay, so let's talk who's on the Vanguard deathbed. I've got 3 clans, and they're the ones that I think for you that are on the Vanguard deathbed. That unless Bushi Road makes some stark changes to the clan itself, they will die. First, OTT. OTT is all but a dead clan. Hand advantage means nothing. Susano can go die in a grave. I'm done with it. And I love you guys. And you clan loyalists, I got nothing but the utmost respect for you because you keep pouring out money for these cards and not seeing as much return as you should be. Because, I mean, I lived in a time when OTT was great and fantastic. And now it's poopy and bad. I would sweat more playing against, like, any of the other clans on this list than I would against OTT. And that deck runs 12 crit. Like, and I'm not as worried to it as I am in other decks. So, next, I like this in the yearbook, there's Nubatama, and then there's cooler Nubatama. So, on to number 2 on my list. And this one pains me to say it, but it's Kagero. I mean, Kagero's really Kagero. The problem with Kagero, and I think Ryan said it a couple months ago, was that Bushi Road needs to decide, and I think they did make the decision, Overlord, and they put all their money on Blade Master, and I think that was a bad bet.
I agree.
Because the player base was invested in Overlord. The clan is invested in Overlord. And Blade Master Retire is also on its own legs. Retire is just not as control based as it used to be.
Let me jump in there and piggyback on what you said, Jose. Just to illustrate this, when they want to give other clans power that they don't have, they typically choose Retire. Look at Thavas. Thavas took Aquaforce mechanics and added Retire because it wanted something extra to give them some advantage. Look at what they did with Sharot. New Sharot retires so much stuff. You get to kill 3 things for being Dark Irregulars. When all that this clan was supposed to do was soul charge a bunch and gain power. They're just giving other things Retire to give them power, and they give Kagero more Retire that means nothing. I will say that the way they're giving Blade Master Retire power at least makes sense. They're using Retire as a mechanic to do other things. But that doesn't give me additional power I couldn't have just from the cards themselves. Overlord doesn't do that. It just gives things power because you're playing Overlord. That's what good cards look like. Blade Master's doing this okay to try and keep with the Kagero motif, but the mechanic itself is no longer viable, and that's what Jose was saying exactly.
So yes. How do you feel about the fact that Nubatama straight up just says, I'm going to use your unit, I'm going to attack you with it, and then I'm going to retire it just for the lulls? There you go.
Oh, Kagero. Yeah, that's great. That's
there
lovely.
You go.
Really?
Go ahead, Ryan.
And people call me out on, oh, this would be too strong, or Ryan, you're a wishful thinker, but they want Kagero to be a control clan so bad. And you know what every control deck needs, or it sucks? Draw power. If you can't draw cards in a control deck, you aren't playing control, you're playing something really awful that doesn't work. It's all fun and good if I can remove your things, but that doesn't further my own game plan. My game plan is reactionary to you, and if I don't have the cards needed to react, I can't win the game. And that's what's wrong with Kagero, is we don't have draw power. That's it. If they said retire things to draw cards, awesome. Is Ziegenberg a cool design choice? You stand for cheaper, yes, but that's all that Kagero gets in the way of card advantage. It's tiny. I'm going to make you minus less to make your opponent minus more. That's not good enough when every clan in the game can not only kill my stuff or take control of it or drop ridiculous cheat guards on my lackluster year-old finishers. It's the fact that they draw all the cards in the world too. And if they didn't draw enough, they just add draw turns, that's fine. And they still draw more than Kagero.
So this is what I explained. This is what I would explain to Kagero as a new player. Look at an old version of Vanguard, updated for inflation. Look at Kagero, because all it is it's the old man who's 60 years old, still trying to compete with all these other people, but sticking to the same strategies. He's just gotten more efficient at it. but the strategies themselves are flawed because the other people have adopted them. Because the one thing I love that Ryan said was that he said that like what is other clans getting when they want to give them something fresh is retire. Well, that's another thing they do with draw power too. It's like, oh well, like they're giving them power and we don't want to give them crits and we don't want to give them retire. Screw it, we'll let them draw a card. And then now OTT becomes that less relevant. Because that was OTT's only shtick, was like, hey, I'm gonna look at my stuff, I'm gonna draw my stuff. And Kaga was like, I'm gonna retire stuff, but Nate brings up a beautiful, elegant point where it's like, let's look at these things on paper. Would I rather kill a dude, or I'd rather call your dude, hit you with him, and then retire him again? Like compare the two, and it's just not even fair. The problem with Kagura right now is it's arcane. It's also one of the few left Vanguard-centric clans, and its age of sticking to it being Vanguard-centric. It's ironic because the one thing that kept it so powerful for so long, its restanding ability, and the fact that it's sticking to that along with the retire is what's costing it its chance to be powerful, in my opinion.
I agree 100%. What's your next clan? Here's what the next clan.
Clan number 3 on the Who's Dying? Mega Colony.
And it's really sad to say. I mean, we joked. We joked in BT12 when we knew what Locke did. For the first time, we said Mega Colony has no room to stand on. Why would I rest a dude and prevent from maybe standing and getting its effects off and doing things that are important or intercepting when I could just make your dude not exist, take up the slot that it's in, and there's nothing my opponent can do about it. There wasn't resist yet. I can just make your dude go away forever until next turn, and then maybe I can draw a card off of it too because I got that too. It was really cool. I can just do it a bunch of times, and all my cards are really powerful because they work with it or they lock other things. They don't have huge, ridiculous costs attached to them like Mega Colony's effects did for some reason. It was just a better version. And then we got Machining Destroyer for Mega Colony, an array of hopes shown down for this clan. Okay, Delete is bad, but Mega Colony machining deck combos are good. You can make decently powered dudes, make your opponent not be able to stand their Vanguard. Stride is a dead mechanic at that point, and now you have a leg to stand on. And then they even got Obturandus. And something different, something new, something fresh. It topped for a little while. There's Mega Colony excitement. We're like, oh no, we've entered a new tier 1 where Mega Colony is the god. All its cards are really expensive, and no one wants to play it anyway, but we still have to deal with it. And it was something 2 cards in tandem could counter either a Vanguard-centric or Rearguard-centric meta. And then they promptly overdosed on heroin and died. Like, that's exactly what happened. They just shot up and didn't make it back from the trip. They were on cloud 9 for 5 seconds, exactly 5 seconds, and then never came back, and they just aged out because they're one of the clans that the butler from the weird organization Blaster Joker Aichi ran. That's his clan. He plays Mega Colony. You know who that guy is? He's nobody in the Vanguard universe. And if your clan's attached to one of those guys, I feel for you, dude, because that's kind of like my Kagura right now. We got some dude I don't even know his name, and he's running my clan. I'm doomed.
I agree. Mega Colony has just been outclassed on multiple stages, and it just can't be outdone at this point. They could fine-tune the mechanic to maybe survive. It's okay, so its skill needs to be modernized more so than abandoned for a new skill. Kagura needs a new one. ODT needs a new one. Mega Colony needs to be 100, which I find hard to say because Machining Destroyer was as efficient as a card can get, but it had like 2 lines of text. But like it needs to get more efficient to compete with other mechanics. And that's where I stand on that. Nate, do you want to talk about Mega Colony at all?
I can. I mean, I disagree a little bit. Just because if we're keeping the morbid analogy about what clans are on the table, Mega Colony to me has always been a clan that's in a coma. Like 24/7, it needs a machine to keep it alive. And just occasionally, like once a year, maybe once every 2 years, it's able to like kick its leg up to show it just has a little bit of life in it. It's never right there on the brink of death, but it's never really living at the same time. I'm not concerned about Mega Colony because Mega Colony to me has always seemed like something where they get one really powerful card. It's not even a really powerful set or really powerful mechanic. It's one powerful card. And they'll get that once or twice every year or 2 years, and that'll bring them back to life. Whereas, you know, so I'm not as concerned about it because we do have that pattern that's happened before. They brought back to life, then they die a little bit, brought back to life, die a little bit. Whereas your other clans, Kagero doesn't have that pattern. Kagero's really always kind of been good. It's only been recently that it's dropped off the face of the earth. OTT, we can say consistently has not had support. So that's a pattern we can continue to assume is happening. So it could be on the deathbed. Whereas Mega Colony has this pattern of it's going to get something maybe once every year, maybe once every 2 years, that's going to kick it back to life for like a set worth of time. So you get to look at that. So I don't consider Mega Colony dead. They're more in a coma. It just, when's the next time they're going to kick their leg for us is more my question. But,
And I do want to do a quick review of what Dark Device was supposed to do, but I think the main way you can tell if your clan is on the deathbed or heading there is, does your clan stop at its mechanic or does it use it to further itself? Good example I want to take is, let's say Machining Mega Colony. It stuns, that's it. Let's take that versus Messiah. It locks, and it locks to do other things. It introduced the concept of locking itself, but now its cards are so efficient at doing that it can just lock, unlock, get board wipe, stun your dudes, Omega lock it, and hit you for 5 crits.
Slap the Sky Dragon.
Slap a Sky Dragon. And that's how it was. Now, I will say Dark Device is a step in the right direction, as it remains active and can only be used as long as your opponent has no units in the stand state in the same column as the unit possessing its ability. That is a good example of how to move beyond your mechanic. You stun things, and then you get things for stunning things. That's a good way to go. We take those. Kagero's also kind of moving in that direction, but the fact that their mechanics are so outclassed by what other clans do means that it's not going far enough. It's not. Angel Feathers heals things and gives itself damage to gain more power simply because, one, that's how the mechanic works, and two, that's what most of its cards are designed to do. When you take damage, we get stronger, but now I can make myself take damage and not be penalized for it, like playing the weird damage inducers from set 7. Now I have something I can do. Now I can move my clan around this fact. That's why Refros was so good, is because you could just boost your power units up to, whatever you wanted them to be, or optimize your damage zone entirely.
I agree.
And Kagero can never get that good. I don't think it can on just a retire-based mechanic. There's only so much you can do. While draw power would be enough to possibly utilize what cards we have, it's pretty much too late for the retire, stun, and drawing mechanics by themselves.
Definitely. And I mean, that was a good counterpoint by Nate, too. I mean, they do kind of buzz up. But I mean, honestly, in my defense, 2 years ago, I would have also said it's on the deathbed, and then it kicked its legs up. Like, I agree, it does kick its legs, but it also stays on it's always this close from dying, but also this close from life.
See, I heard that little pun, they buzz up. Haha, you're fun.
Aha. All right, what's your last clan?
The last clan is one that I always forget even exists until I bring it up, and that's who talks about Murakumo anymore?
No one. It's the clan that we've wanted to be good, that had, with Shadow Stitch, the ability to possibly become really good. There was a way to get, kill technique. Basically, you could attack until your opponent died. That's what makes Spike Brothers so good, is surprise you're dead. It was too limited in its approach. And it also just never gets support. Tell me, what do you think about Murakumo, Jose? Do you ever talk about Murakumo? Because I don't. It's like the clan we have to talk about because it's sometimes there, and we're like, I don't know how much this is gonna help.
Here's the thing. I only talk about Murakumo as a reminder of how bad it is. I never talk about the last time I talked about Murakumo in a bright light was when I was like, man, that stride is super cool because it gives other units drive checks. That's interesting. That's spicy. That was the last thing I said positive about. Like, talking about that card still makes me excited, like, from a design perspective. Too bad it's in a very poopy clan that can't utilize it right, which is
What about
really
the card?
sad.
What about the card that calls strides to the rear guard? What about that card? Remember how cool that card was? And we're like, holy crap, Bushi Road's never done anything like this. When did that card come out? I don't know what set it's in. It never topped, ever, at all, not even once. And I'm like, what's the point of giving these cool things to this clan if you're just gonna poop on it every time? Oh, by the way, here's 7 Seas Rush. This is exactly what we want to happen to the game.
I think that all test cards go to Murakumo because they know it's like, we can give him the most unique card ever, but it ain't gonna make a difference because Murakumo's still gonna, like, it's just not gonna be that efficient. So things where we have to think about the best. I can't remember. There are very few times I've ever, in any kind of conversation, thought about Murakumo as a clan to talk about. It's always a clan that's either under-supported or its support is just garbage, except for the very unique cards that aren't utilized properly. And I don't know how you fix Murakumo. I think Bushi Road knows what they want to do with Murakumo. I think it's there, and they're like, we'll take advantage because they're Naruto boys, but that's it. And that's where the buck ends with them.
I got an answer.
Oh, it's Braxton.
What?
I got an
Surprise.
answer. We'll do it. We'll do the same thing we did with Grand Blue. Make everything free.
Yeah,
That'd be the answer.
That would do it. Uh-huh.
It worked
Make it
for Grand.
free.
Work for Grand Blue. Work for everybody.
See, my issue with Murakumo is its core mechanic just isn't original, and it doesn't do it well. It tries to do multiple attacks, like Aquaforce, Royal Paladins, and Nova Grapplers. It maybe Gear Chronicle if you want to count them. It doesn't do it, and Grand Blue. It does not do them as well as those clans. It tries to superior call units with the same name from the deck, kind of like Neo Nectar. Neo Nectar gets like plus 100,000k for doing it. Murakumo does not. It does not do it effectively, and it's just not original. So what do you do to fix Murakumo? You give it an original mechanic, or you at least bring its mechanic to be on par with its contemporaries in Neo Nectar, Nova Grappler, Aquaforce. Pick your freestanding deck of choice. That's my problem with Murakumo.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And those, in my opinion, are 4 clans that are absolutely, in my opinion, on the Vanguard deathbed. And unless Bushi Road takes swift action to revive that clan in a substantial way, it will become outdated in a way that we have not seen before. Number 1. Number 2, there are other clans that are getting closer to that, but they're not as much of a concern. They can still bring them back. Not as bad as those 4. With the exception of Mega Colony being able to buzz occasionally, but, like, that's about it there. So, and I hope they do fix it. But I got the first hashtag Ask Absolution here, and it's one that I want to cover as a quick little announcement here. Hashtag Ask Absolution. Are you going to be doing any deck profiles in the future? Yes. So, quick explanation. I've been in the process of moving over the last 3 weeks, and by that I mean, like, packing, making sure I have an apartment, making sure I get everything packed up and ready to go, packing up the filming room, and because Ryan's moving, figuring out what decks he's going to take, what decks I'm going to take, and how that's going to work. The filming room is behind Ryan, discombobulated. I have to get Nate to come up and help me up with the 3-point lighting system so I can get a good filming system there. So we can start recording closer to me now so I can pick him up. And we can actually do games and deck profiles, so expect more coming in the future. We're just in a little transitionary period between Squad Base 1 and Squad Base 2.
And Squad-based
Um,
Junior.
So that's that first question. Next one.
Oh, Braxton, here I got one for you since you're here.
Oh,
Hashtag
snap.
Absolution. What is the better ZTB deck, Chrono Jet or Chrono Fang, given the new GBT11 support that we've seen?
I don't know yet, but I've been thinking about stuff. So just on paper, I'm gonna just say Jet is better because that's just the record we have right now. But
I don't think he means Gears. I think he means you're running all ZTBs to do ZTB things, not just Gears good stuff Chrono Jet.
No, yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Like I don't know yet because like I haven't played either version of the deck, but just based off of like the current record right now, I'm gonna just give it to Jet just cause. Just blanket statement.
Always a bet on Jet.
Hashtag Absolution. Since we're talking about clans getting favored and clans that have fallen off, what is your opinion on the most improved clan over the course of the last year? I'm going to say since the beginning of 2017. Since the beginning of 2017, though?
Oh, since the beginning of 2017. Oh.
I think... Does anyone disagree with me there?
Okay. OCG, I'm going to give it to Nubatama. Because the new mechanic alone is like a vast improvement to what it had before.
100%. I mean, if we're talking like stuff that's not out yet, yeah, OCG, I'd give that to Nubatama. I mean, it got a facelift, you know. It got a nice big pair of fake tits, and we're on our way.
About this, Ryan. No, we excavated its dead organs and put it in a cyborg and called it Robotama.
Oh my god.
If only it was Robotama.
But
TCG most improved deck.
TCG most improved. I'm gonna give it to D, please.
That's an interesting choice. I didn't see that coming. I really don't. I think it's an interesting choice. Why?
I like the starter for one. Granted,
starter's great.
Granted, they're Dimension Robos are doing the same thing they've always done, but now it's just a bit more better with new added cards to do more things, and even like Cosmic
It's a bit
Heroes
faster too, is what I think is really good.
Yeah, and even though it's not as relevant, like Cosmic Heroes got some nice little generic tools to use too. So.
Okay. Nate, do you have an answer for clan that's been most improved?
I was gonna say Neo Nectar. I think they picked up a lot more than people think they did with their trial deck and the character booster, especially since that stuff was cheap. Neo Nectar's always kind of been that under the radar clan, really, in the G era, but I think they really picked up a lot in terms of bloom consistency. Just getting cards with bloom out and doing things with them, I think that improved, as well as just how high they can actually get those rear guards. I think they're improved. I don't think they're great, but I think they improved a lot with what little support they actually got.
To kind of add on to what Nate said, I don't play the deck enough, so I don't know. But we still have Lisbeth here, so no one's still playing the deck, and I don't know if it's still relevant now or anything, but we still have Lisbeth. That's a pretty big deal, I think.
I'm gonna answer this one really quick. Deck, not as a mechanic because we know it's bad, but as a whole deck. The whole deck's fine. The whole deck's good, actually. It's topping decently in the OCG as well. So deck, because of how much they pumped it with life. Please see earlier comments and video about Bushi's favoritism. Since it's been flooded with support, though obviously the deck's gonna function well. But as a mechanic, it's still bad. All right.
In case this wasn't clear to everyone, Eternal Ringmaster asks, my boy Eternal Ringmaster, hashtag Absolution, I plan on building a deck on turn between Angels and DI. Have you been watching Damage Tech the last few weeks? You build that DI, friend. You do that. You build that DI.
Build the DI.
You're gonna get some Brutamoth.
Brutamoth.
Bread 'em off. All right, and with the bread 'em off statement, we're gonna call an end here. I want to always remind you, Team Absolution fans, to check us out on Facebook and check us out on Facebook.
Buy our shirts.
Buy our shirts.
You buy our shirts, we'll
please
make
buy
more
our
shirts.
This is true. But please check us out on Facebook. Always post there. You want to see the new drop shirt? The only way to see it is to go to our Facebook. And that's important to remember. Also, please do not forget that we will be doing a ton of E3 coverage this weekend at our Team Absolution gaming channel. So please check us out over there. And with that, this is the Dupebringer Griffin, the late Braxton Express.
Hi, guys.
Nate signing off along with